Hello, and welcome back to yet another video. This is the 17th episode of a story in which 10-year-old Naruto meets Minato from future and that turns Naruto's life upside down. As Naruto lives a happy life in which he is trained by Minato and later Kushina too. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. To begin, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get the party started. Naruto and Hinata turned at the door, where Sakura, Kuji, Lee, Tenten, Kiba, Shino, Yakumo and Sai were watching them. "Baka. You don't ask people things like that," exclaimed Sakura, bonking Sai in the head. The poor Hinata was completely embarrassed and hid her head behind the sheets. For a moment she wished that she kept her ability to feign in situations like this. "Hey guys. Have you come to see Hinata too?" greeted Naruto, trying to change the subject. "Yes, I came here as soon as I found out. The doctors told me that it would be nice if I did some laps around Konoha to calm down. During them I found the others and told them," explained Lee. "Thank you very much for coming," said Hinata, popping slightly her head out the blankets. "It's the least that we could do for our friend," said Yakumo. "How did you end here, Hinata?" asked Tenten. The indigo-haired girl explained how she helped the Hyuga branch member on her delivery. "It reminds me when my sister Hana helped our bitches to deliver the puppies," commented Kiba. "Don't be so rude. Human deliveries are different from dogs," exclaimed Sakura. "True, it's like trying to pass something as wide as a melon through a hole of a plum size," commented Sai. Nobody made a comment about that assertion. "Where is the rest of the special team, Naruto? Why they are not here with you?" asked Shino. Naruto explained them how he got Lee's message and how he made the way back to Konoha flying, skipping the part where he turns into a bird. His friends were awed by the special seals. They asked him to make some for themselves, but Naruto explained that he needed the Hokage's permission to make them. "Danzo-sama would love to get the secret of those seal," thought Sai. "Could you tell us how are Shikamaru, Ino and the others?" asked Kuji. Naruto nodded and spent the next minutes telling everybody about the mission to Wave. Nobody noticed the sparkle that appeared on Shino's glasses when Naruto mentioned Hidan. Sakura's heart almost stopped when Naruto reached the part where Sasuke was almost killed by Hidan. She felt very relieved when she found out that Ino surprised everyone, taking control of Hidan's body. "Thank you, Ino-chan. I'll be eternally in debt with you," thought Sakura. Finally Naruto reached the part where Kaiza married Tsunami and the celebration where they were hailed as heroes. Sakura's brows twitched when Naruto mentioned that Sasuke danced with Ino and other girls. "Forget about the eternal debt. You'll pay for taking advantage of Sasuke-kun's gratefulness, Ino pig," exclaimed inner Sakura. Suddenly, the door opened violently, hitting the nearest person, who happened to be Sai. "Where's my daughter?" asked Hiyashi in a firm tone while he rushed into the room. For most people in the room, Hiyashi seemed to keep his impassive and calm demeanor, but Hinata, thanks to her Hyuga training, noticed that he was really tense. "I'm fine, Tosan. It was just a case of chakra exhaustion," she said. "I know, I just came to see how you are," responded Hiyashi, keeping his cool. However, Hinata noticed that he was really relieved to see that she was fine. "I told you that she was fine, Hiyashi-sama," said Neji while he got into the room, followed by several elderly Hyugas. Neji noticed Sai's bleeding nose. "Let me guess, a door, isn't it?" he asked. "Yes, how do you know?" asked Sai. "Don't ask," responded Neji. Naruto recognized the Hyugas who got into the room as the Hyuga's elders from the dinner several months ago. "I think that it would be nice if we leave Hinata alone with her family, they must have a lot of things to talk about," commented Shino. "Why? I don't want to leave yet," protested Naruto. "Shut up and come with us," said Sakura, dragging him away. Naruto's disgusted face didn't go unnoticed by Lady Miho. Hinata really got him. Things are going according with the plan, she thought. "Thank you very much for coming here, honorary elders. I'm sorry if my situation scared you," said Hinata politely as soon as the last of her friends left the room. "You are the one who will take charge of the clan when time comes. It's only natural that we worry about your well-being," said one of the elders. "However," pointed another, "we should reprehend you for your dangerous behavior. Using your medical jutsus like that being already tired was too risky. It is the branch family's duty to protect the main one, not the opposite." The elder expected that his comment would make Hinata to look down in shame, but surprisingly Hinata looked back at him. "I'm sorry, Satoshi-san, but I'm not going to admit that I did something. I may be the heiress of the Hyuga clan, but I'm also a ninja of Konoha and a medic nin. As Konoha ninja, it is my duty to protect Konoha citizens, and as medic nin it is my duty to give medical help to anybody who needs it. Even if I was a civilian, I would have helped Shizuka-san as good as I could because this is what family members do to each other, said Hinata solemnly. All Hyugas were speechless. They knew that Hinata has been developing a backbone since started her friendship with Naruto, but they never expected that she would be bold enough to contradict an elder or to sound so convinced about her beliefs. The elders realized that they couldn't counter Hinata's arguments and, although Konoha's laws concerning clans' autonomy would let them punish Hinata for querying them, it would get them in trouble with Jiraiya and Tsunade for punishing their subordinate just because she fulfilled her duty. Hiyashi was really proud of his daughter for the way she was handling the elders. His worries about her being unable to deal with them at the time she took charge of the clan were dissipated. She will do an excellent job, he thought. Neji felt ashamed for the way he used to hate and despise his cousin. I will make sure that the Branch family finds out about the way she confronted the elders, he thought. Lady Miho decided to intervene before things got worse. Come on. We are not here to argue. Tell me, Hinata, Neji, how were your last missions? She asked. The tension dissipated almost magically when Hinata and Neji told everybody about their training regimens, their missions, their senseis and teammates. What? Are you telling me that Lee is now able to summon turtles? Asked Neji in disbelief. Yes, Nii-san. It looks like Guy-san is associated with them and they left Lee to sign the contract after they tested his youthfulness. It looks like turtles prefer youthful summoners because they have very long lives, making their minds to mature slower. A 60 years old turtle is still considered a kid among them, explained Hinata. So this explains why Guy is like that, thought Hiyashi with a sweat drop. But still it doesn't explain why Lee can summon them. He is not supposed to being able to perform ninjutsu, said Hiyashi. Naruto-kun put a big and complex seals on Lee that covered Lee's arms and chest. The seal slowly absorbs and stores chakra from Lee's body and uses it to perform the jutsu for Lee when he decides to activate said seal with some keywords, explained Hinata. So, in theory, a civilian with that seal or a similar one would have access to ninjutsu. Obviously it would take them more time to store the necessary chakra because they're small chakra reserves, but it would be a priceless tool. Nobility and wealthy men would love to access to some of the power of the shinobi, thought Lady Miho. Seals able to stores and perform ninjutsu for the users. It looks like the former Kazama clan had more secrets than we thought, commented an elder. No, it is not something that Naruto learned from his father's family. This type of seals came from Lady Kushina's family. What Minato did was to improve and refine them, intervened Neji. How do you know that? Asked the other elder. As you know, Lady Kushina is my sensei. Although she is not as good as her husband on the practical, she is practically his equal when it concerns about seals knowledge. She already taught us how to create store seals, explosive and other useful things. Tenten is especially enthusiastic about it, explained Neji. Let's just hope that she doesn't try to teach you things that you are not supposed to know, Neji, thought the elder. Now that I realize it. That seal on your teammate works in a very similar way with the one that Lady Tsunade has on her forehead. Do you think that they are related? Commented Hiyashi. Lady Tsunade said that it was a departure gift from her grandmother that would save her life in extremely dire situations, but she shouldn't abuse it, said Hinata. Lady Miho saw that as the chance to reveal the last thing she discovered from the Uzumaki clan. You are talking about Mito Senju, the Shodai's wife, don't you? Tsunade having that seal makes a lot of sense considering that before becoming Mito Senju she was known as Mito Uzumaki, said Lady Miho smiling. Nobody said anything. Are you sure about that? Asked Hiyashi. Lady Miho nodded. Yes, Mito Senju originally being from the Uzumaki clan was hard to find out because she was already married with Hashirama when he founded Konoha. She happens to be Kushina's grand aunt. Kushina and Tsunade are distant cousins, said the old woman. Before the other Hyugas could assimilate the new info, someone opened the door and got into the room. It happened to be Tsunade herself, and she didn't look very friendly. Finally I found you. Do you realize the stupidity you did? Exclaimed Tsunade. I'm sorry Tsunade-sama, I did what I thought that was best, said Hinata. I'm not talking to you Hinata, I'm talking to your father and these bigoted fools from your clan. What the hell were you thinking with that tradition of having babies at home? Asked Tsunade enraged. Lady Miho explained as best as she could that it was a way to protect their bloodline better, exposing the same reasons that Naruto was told earlier. Ha! Like I'm going to believe that. The real reason is that those from noble clans, ninja or civilians, don't want to have their children born at the same place as commoners because it puts their supposed superiority in doubt. How they can assert that they are better if they are born the same way. During the months before my return, when I was available as a doctor in order to pay my debts, I attended several women of noble status or rich ones who insisted to have their babies at home. Of course I gave them a service that only those of high status as them could pay, thought Tsunade. I realized that this practice is too risky for our clans. For that reason I decided that from now we Hyugas will have our children aid the safety of Konoha's hospital. I just would ask to allow the deliveries to be supervised by one of our members who will make sure that our secrets are well protected during the event, said Hiyashi. One of the elders was about to protest, but he realized that he couldn't question Hiyashi's measure before someone like Tsunade. It would give a bad impression of the Hyuga clan. That's a very wise decision, said Tsunade. Why don't you come with me so we could discuss the terms about it and let Hinata rest? Hiyashi and the defeated elders nodded and left the room with Tsunade and Neji. 5 minutes later, Naruto got into the room carrying a box. Hello Hinata-chan, I brought something that you will like. Why you seem so happy? He asked. Hinata proceeded to explain him about Tsunade's intervention and how of the problems she wanted to face was already resolved. Anyo, Naruto-kun. What's in the box? It smells really nice. Is it what I think it is? Asked Hinata. Yes, I brought cinnamon rolls, from your favorite maker, by the way, said Naruto opening the box. If Hinata and Naruto were an official couple, she would have hugged and kissed him on the lips, but because they weren't, she had to contain herself, say thank you to Naruto and share the rolls with him. Unfortunately, a nurse came and took away the rolls, arguing that Hinata should have only more healthy until she recovered. When Naruto asked if Hinata could have ramen and the nurse said no, he saw it as an insult to ramen and a challenge. The next days became a competition between Naruto and the medical staff, where Naruto tried to introduce ramen, cinnamon rolls and other snacks into Hinata's room and the medical staff trying to locate him and take away the food. The winner of the competition happened to be Naruto thanks to his previous experience as prankster. One of his best strategies was to hench himself into any person who knew Hinata and introduce the stuff into the hospital safely. However, he had to abandon that strategy when people began to mistake him for those persons he imitated, especially after Jiraiya tried to kiss him while he was henged into Tsunade. Several months passed since the premature mission to Wave. During the time, Hinata was discharged from the hospital and returned to her routine with her team, but not before receiving a small rebuke from Tsunade for doing something so risky for her health and a praise for her determination as medic. In some days after that, Konoha received the notice that the Fire Lord accepted Wave Country's proposition to be annexed to Fire Country. As other regions of Fire Country administrated by local governors, the new Wave region would keep most its autonomy and customs, with some minor exceptions concerning laws that were different to those in Fire Country. Those who were familiar with the mission to Wave were not surprised when they found out that Tazuna was chosen as Wave's governor because his courage to face Gato starting to build the bridge that would connect them with the mainland, and for recruiting the ninjas who helped them to free their country from Gato. Kaiza was chosen to be Wave's representative at Fire Country's capital, basically because his people knew that he wouldn't feel intimidated by Fire Country's nobility and would stand for them. The ex-fisherman lamented to have to take his new family away from his homeland to move to the capital. He would have preferred to stay in Wave and have a simple but happy life as fisherman. Inari was completely happy with the changes. Because the capital was only a few miles away from Konoha, he could join the Ninja Academy so he would be strong enough to defend his precious persons, his friends from Wave and his new fellow citizens. The boy was facing a long hard way before him because he didn't come from a ninja family, but he was determined to be successful, and things went easier for him when he was introduced by Naruto to the Konohamaru Corps, who admitted him with open arms. The notice of Wave joining Fire was taken with different opinions at Konoha. On the one hand, Konoha would get more missions and the enrichment of Fire Country would mean more funds for Konoha, especially now that they would have more territory to protect, but that also mean more work. Because its previous state as a country without any affiliations nor business with ninja villages, Wave Country was a place full of missing ninjas that had to be captured or expelled from Fire Country's territory. It turned into an increase in demand of missions in Fire Country, specifically patrol missions at the new territory. Jiraiya saw those missions as a good and relatively safe source of experience for the Konoha 15 and other Genin teams. The majority of missing ninjas who wandered through Wave Country abandoned the place as soon as they found out about the annexation, so the Genins mainly had to deal with bandits and thugs. To make things safer for the Genins, Jiraiya decided that it would be a good idea to include temporarily a Chunin to the teams who would take command of the mission, while the Jonin sensei would act only if needed. This way the Genins not only would be safer, but the Chunin would acquire the experience they needed in order to be the squad captains they were supposed to be. That's killing two birds with a single stone, thought Jiraiya. What the goddamn Hokage didn't expect was that those Chiyunins assigned to the Genins teams of the Konoha 15 would be shocked to find that the only advantages they had compared with some of the Genins was the physical advantage because the age difference in their field experience. It was especially hurtful when they saw the feats of powerhouses like Naruto, Sasuke, Neji or Lee and realized that those fresh Genins had better ninjutsu or taijutsu than them. Most of them felt it as an insult to their ninja pride and decided to take more seriously their training. I didn't see that coming but I won't complain, thought Jiraiya when he found out. However, having more ninjas taking missions outside Konoha meant less ninjas available for D-rank missions and soon there was a small pile of scrolls with the D-rank missions in waiting list on Jiraiya's desk much to his chagrin. So when Iruka asked the goddamn if he could assign some D missions for the students of the last class's practical training with the students receiving less payment, Jiraiya almost hugged the teacher. According to some veteran ninjas who observed the students of the last class, the ex-Chunin was doing a superb job teaching the future ninjas. Thanks to the magic of Kage Bunshine, Iruka could give a personalized instruction to all the students who needed it without having to worry about not having time to attend the others. Those students who were bad but wanted to progress were enthusiastic with Iruka's new ability while those who were lazy had no choice but to improve now that they had a clone of his teacher watching over him. Iruka's new teaching methods impressed the veteran ninjas to the point that they predicted that at least 60% of them would pass the real test and become Jonin. One of the fields that Iruka emphasized the most was chakra control. After he found that Naruto's inability to perform the regular Bunshine was because his extremely high chakra reserves and the fact that the chakra control exercises taught at the academy were not enough for him, Iruka vowed to not make the same mistake again. Because that, all the students became able to create at least a Bunshine to the point that some of them improved enough to be selected to join the Medic Nin program, ensuring a new batch of Jonin teams with a Medic Nin in each one. At that time Jiraiya decided to set an idea he got after the prison break incident, something he called the Fast Medic Nin procedure, a service that would send Medic Nins to places where they were needed in a very short amount of time. Basically it relied on Naruto or Arashi using their Funjutsus to seal a team of Medic Nins into a scroll and flying them to the assigned place. This way the Medic Nins would make the travel in a very fast rate without exhausting themselves on the way, so they would be able to attend their patients immediately and at 100% of their capacity. Even more, Naruto or Arashi not only were able to bring the medics but also they could take the needed equipment to prepare a field hospital or to seal the patients and bring them safely to Konoha if needed. Jiraiya's idea got a fantastic reception, especially from Tsunade's part. After she expressed her enthusiasm, the Toad Sage came to the conclusion that it was the third best idea he had after writing erotic literate and making sure that all new teams had a Medic Nin. The main drawback of the idea that they had to convince Fire Country's nobility that it was an emergency procedure available only for the most urgent cases, not a regular service that would take medics at home for a cold or something like that. 3 persons more were told about Minato and the other time traveler's secret, Asuma, Lee and Tenten. Asuma was told because he was the only teacher of the Konoha 15 who didn't know about it yet and deserved to know it because it was likely that he would have to face them in the future because the reward that was over him and his old friend Kairiku from the 12 Guardians of Fire. Besides, Shikamaru couldn't stand deceiving him anymore and needed his sensei to know his true capabilities if he wanted to receive a training more fitting for someone of his level. The Sarutobi heir took the news surprisingly well and with a lot of philosophy. He seemed to be more affected by Kairiku's death in the future than from his own. Flashback: why you are not shocked to know about your death in that future? Asked Shikamaru. It's simple, Shikamaru. Now that I know how Hidan's powers work and the fact that I will have on my side someone who previously defeated him, there's no reason to be afraid of him, responded Asuma. And flashback: Lee was told because he was the only member of Team 12 who didn't know yet. His reaction was one of the most exaggerated things ever seen in Konoha. He promised eternal friendship to Naruto for revealing such an important secret to him and telling him that he would become one of the most powerful ninjas of Konoha just with taijutsu. Naruto, you don't know how happy I am to know that my dream will come true, said Lee, and this time I will have not only my taijutsu but also my training with metal claws and the summoning seal you gave me. I promise to beat all Akatsukis who get in my way. And if I don't manage to do it, then I will look for them to whenever they are hidden and I will fight them until they abandon their unyouthful ways. Tenten was told for the same reason. She was the only member of her team who didn't know the secret and Kushina thought that she deserved to know. The Kunoichi was shocked to find out that her sensei was married with the Yondaime Hokage nonetheless and that she taught him several seals, making him more powerful. Also, Kushina's real story during last year's really touched Tenten. She was so impressed with her sensei's will that she became Kushina's #1 admirer, dethroning Tsunade. But don't expect me to dress like her or to grow my hair and dye it red. I'm not Lee, she exclaimed. Tenten was not the only girl who got closer to Kushina. With the excuse to help them to improve their combined technique, the Rasen no Mai, Kushina kept giving particular lessons to Naruto and Hinata, Kami bless Cage Bunshines. Many of those lessons had parts where Naruto had to practice by his own, giving Kushina and Hinata some time alone to chat. The girl was surprised to know that Kumo also tried to kidnap Kushina when she was younger and found very romantic that Minato found her because he followed the red hairs that she left on the road. Kushina also told Hinata about some of the missions that Naruto and her did in the future and explained her about the Shugo Haki Raku Huiyanchao, the technique her future self created. The Hyuga girl was really intrigued by it and took note that she should ask Shino more information about it when they meet again. Should I tell Hinata that Naruto saw her naked during one of those missions but he didn't recognize her? No, I'll better wait until they become a couple, thought Kushina. More changes happened among the Konoha 15. Yakumo and Sai found out that they had in common a passion for painting. Kiba and Akamaru managed to master some new moves from their clan, and Kiba's ego received a huge boost when his mother revealed that he was stronger than his sister and herself when they were his age. Then Tsume hit him and reminded her son that what mattered was who is stronger now. Haku and Neji found out that their fangirls had fantasies about them doing yaoi things. Haku took it with humor. Neji almost needed medical assistance. Shikamaru and Shino decided to play matchmaker with Asuma and Kurenai. Shikamaru told Asuma that he and Kurenai would become a couple, and Shino did the same with Kurenai. What they didn't told them was that the other also knew about them becoming a couple in the future. The person who changed the most was Sakura. One day Team 8 returned from a mission where they had the bad luck to face a group of dangerous missing nins. The pink cat had to take her first life impaling a kunai into a man that she kept paralyzed with a genjutsu, and she didn't take it very well. Surprisingly, Sasuke comforted her, saying that she did what she had to do, that it was the enemy or them. Later he commented that he was very relieved to be on the same team as her, a true kunoichi whom he could trust his life without fear. Things in general were going smoothly in Konoha, especially for Jiraiya, who now had everything a man would have loved until one day he received a mission request from the film studios who adapted his novels to the big screen. It looks like there's another mission that will happen earlier. I hope that it would end as good as Waves, he thought. He didn't know how wrong he was. Koyuki Kazahana's life has not been easy since her uncle Dota betrayed her father, killed him and took control of Snow Country. One of the few things that she reminded from those times was that she managed to escape from her former kingdom thanks to the efforts of the young Jonin Hatake Kakashi from Konoha, who put her under the care of Asuma Sandayu, one of her father's most loyal servants. Life got a bit better after that. Sandayu found out that she had an impressive talent for interpretation and, after receiving some classes and changing her name to Yuki Fujikaze, she became one of the most popular actresses in the world, especially thanks to her role as Princess Fuan, a heroine who fought evil helped by her followers. The worst part were the fans, annoying people who wanted to meet her, get her autograph and many other banal things. Luckily, one of the advantages of being a famous actress was that people didn't mind too much if you treated them like trash. A diva's temper, many said. Koyuki wouldn't have mind to spend the rest of her life working as an actress, but unfortunately for her, Sandayu didn't have the same opinion, always telling her that someday they would have to return to Snow Country where she would take her rightful place as the legitimate ruler of the country. How many times she told him that she was not interested at all to return to that place. It brought her a lot of bad memories. She couldn't see that place as her home, and besides that, she wanted to stay the farthest possible from Dodo and his men. For that reason she did her best to escape. When Sandayu told her that they would film the next movie at Snow Country, she would have succeeded if it was not because that annoying blonde boy who also happened to be one Princess Fuan's fans, and one of the most persistence. No matter how many tricks she tried to escape from him, the boy just managed to get at her side, telling her that she should return to her home and take her rightful place. At the end, a sick-looking guy who claimed to be his sensei made some hand signs that knocked her out. Later she found out that he used something called genjutsu on her when she woke up, on the boat heading towards Snow Country. Even the sailors of the boat were impressed by her curses. With Naruto, when the young Jinchuriki noticed that the flow of curses and bad words coming Princess Koyuki's cabin didn't decline, he decided to talk with her later. Jeez. She is still angry. I'll wait until she cools down a bit more. I'll go to see the others, he thought. He headed to the ship's deck where the rest of the pair teams assigned for the mission were chatting. The first team was Naruto's own team, Team 12, that consisted of himself, Hinata and Lee with Hayate as their sensei. The second team was Team 8, led by Kurenai and formed by Sasuke, Sakura and Haku replacing Shino. "How is our client, Naruto?" asked Kurenai. She is still angry with us for kidnapping and forcing her to come to Snow Country against her will as she says, responded Naruto. You skipped the curses, commented Sasuke. Like how I will repeat what she says, if my parents or Iruka-sensei hear me they will force me to wash my mouth with soap, commented Naruto. Perhaps we should introduce her to them, commented Haku. By the way, Sakura, how did Shino take that I would take his place in this mission because my bloodline would be a great advantage? Don't worry, Haku, Shino doesn't mind at all. It happens that Snow Country and other places with similar cold environments are forbidden place for Aburames. Bugs can't survive in cold temperatures for too long and the Kikai bugs are not an exception. If Shino came with us he would have been forced to keep the bugs inside his body, explained Sakura. Yes, that's one of the main reasons because the Aburame clan joined Konoha. Because our village is placed at Fire Country, a land where there's always warm weather so they can breed their insects during all year's time and not only during summer, commented Naruto. Sakura and Sasuke looked at Naruto a bit surprised. What? Remember that my current training methods include book knowledge. It has been more than a year and a half since that, he protested. Sakura looked a bit ashamed. Sorry Naruto, old habits change hard. I still can't believe how much things changed in such short amount of time. Technically we should be still at the academy, getting ready for the exams, not doing missions outside Konoha, said Sakura. If it was not the new rule instated by the Godime that said that new Genins should wait at least a year before taking the Chunin exams for first time, there's a good chance that we would have been recommended to take the exams at Iwa, commented Lee. Naruto reminded himself when Shikamaru convinced Jiraiya about how much the Chunin hopefuls needed a minimum experience as Genins in order to perform their roles better. A part of him suspected that it was a stratagem by Shikamaru in order to keep his Jinan more time because he hated the responsibilities attached to the Chunin rank. He didn't mind it very much, the farthest he kept from Iwa, the better. Shino-kun has been temporarily assigned to your mother's team, isn't him, Naruto-kun? Asked Hinata. Yes, he was. I wonder what they are doing now, said Naruto. Meanwhile Shino felt the need to sneeze but one of his Kikai bugs blocked his nostrils preventing it. Achoo, sneezed Kushina, blotching Neji's hair, who happened to walk before her. Are you alright, Kushina-sensei? Asked Tenten. Yes, somebody must be talking about me. I'm sorry for your hair, Neji, said Kushina. It's nothing Kushina-sensei, responded Neji. Why do I think that this is not the first time someone sneezes over me? He thought while he cleaned his hair. This place rings a bell on my mind, Orochimaru definitely brought me here. We are near our destiny don't we, Shino? Commented Anko in an unusual serious tone. Yes, we will reach Sea Country in a few hours. Once we arrive there we will prepare our sneak attack on Amachi's lab, get all the info we could from him and convince Isaribi to come with us, said Shino. This mission is going to change the original timeline again. What if our actions change Orochimaru's plans? Asked Neji. The original timeline already changed. With Tsuna's economy fixed and Akaze Kage who supports his village's alliance with Konoha, Orochimaru's plan to invade Konoha will be very different from the original if he decides to keep with it, said Shino. He will keep with the plan, he hates Konoha too much. I bet that finding out that Jiraiya was the first choice to become Yondaime and now the current Hokage freaked him out. He will attack Konoha even if he only has his village alone. The true purpose of our mission is to rescue that poor girl Isaribi and bring her to Tsunade to fix what they did to her, said Kushina. I can't wait to get my hands on that Amachi. He will be a great training until I have the chance to face Orochimaru, said Anko with a sadistic smile. Don't be too harsh on him. I also want a piece of him, said Kushina with another wicked smile. Tenten looked at the pair of kunoikis with stars on her eyes. Neji just sweat dropped and hoped that Hinata wouldn't turn like them. Back with Naruto and Seo, a small boy who looked like a mini Sasuke got into the deck carrying a fish on his mouth. Hey Sasuke-ni-san, you can't believe how easy it is to sneak on this ship's kitchen and get all the food you want, commented the boy while he sat on the Uchiha's lap. Who's this brat? And why he looks like you, Sasuke? Asked Naruto. The boy looked at Naruto smiling and turned into a kitten wearing a headband with the Uchiha symbol and a poof of smoke. I'm Pichi. You didn't recognize me? Said the cute cat. I didn't know that you knew how to perform the henge, commented Lee. That's not a henge, said Pichi with a proud smile leaving Sasuke's lap. That was a true transformation. We cats can take human form as a special power. That's one of the reason because we are the best summons. Naruto bited his tongue so he wouldn't tell the kitten that Dodes had the ability to change size, something more impressive on his opinion, and that he had a true transformation technique that was not restricted to one form. He learned the hard way that discussing with the small cat would lead to the females taking the kitten's side, the advantage of being cute. "How did you get that headband, Pitchy?" asked Hinata while she caressed the cat. "Sakura Nichan made it for me." "It looks great, isn't it?" said Pitchy smiling. "It was nothing. It happens that I'm very good making clothes and I couldn't resist the temptation to make the headband," said Sakura blushing. "It's a pity that your cooking skills are not so great. If you don't improve them, Sasuke will have to do the chore when you marry him," said Pitchy. "Don't say stupid things, Pitchy," said Sakura grabbing the kitten by the back of his neck. Some persons got into the deck. They recognized them as Yuki, Sandayu and the director and his team. "We will moor at a nearby island to film some scenes. Make sure to be ready to protect Yuki if something happens," whispered Sandayu to Hayate and Kurenai. "Don't worry, she will be safe," said Kurenai. "I wish I had been replaced because the cold has happened with Shino. I never thought I would miss my illness," thought Hayate when he saw the snow-covered island. On the way towards said island, Naruto headed towards Hinata, who was contemplating the great blocks of ice. "The view is impressive, isn't it, Naruto?" commented Hinata. "Yes, it is. Nay, Hinata. I wanted to ask you something," said Naruto. "What do you want, Naruto?" "You know that you can ask anything to me," said Hinata. "Hinata. I was asking myself if you would want to hang out with me when we return to Konoha," said Naruto with his hand behind his head. Hinata's heart almost stopped. "And Naruto-kun? Are you asking me for a date? Why you and me alone?" babbled Hinata while she played with her index fingers. Yes. That's what I'm asking you," said Naruto smiling. "Great. I can't wait until we return to the village. See you later, Hinata-chan," said Naruto while he headed towards the boys' cabin. As soon as Hinata was out of sight, he breathed in relief. Phew. Why I was so nervous when I asked Hinata out. I did it 1,000 times with Sakura and I never felt like that, thought Naruto. Meanwhile, Hinata fell on her knees, miraculously managing to not faint. "And Naruto asked me out. He did it," she thought while her face turned redder and redder. The ship arrived to the island and the movie staff began to film. The ninjas were impressed of how Yuki turned from a spoiled child to a professional actress who got into the role of Princess Fuan like it was her true self. Naruto was a bit disappointed to find out that the techniques performed by Princess Fuan and her followers were fake, just some special effects. "Don't be stupid, Naruto. How could you think that those techniques seen on the films were real?" said Sakura. "Well, our ninja techniques are real. I thought that filmmakers hired ninjas to work as stunt performers. I mean, a ninja just needs to perform a henge to look like the desired character and then perform some flashy jutsus that later could be edited by the filmmakers to look different. Ninjas don't even need those cables to perform the jumps, we already can jump as seen in the movies," commented Naruto. Naruto's words reached the director's ears. "Why didn't anybody thought about this before?" he exclaimed. Before they realized it, the pair of Konoha teams were helping the cast to film some of the most risky scenes. At first they tried to have Kurenai posing as Fuan in some sword fighting scenes, but they found that Hayate was more fitted for the job because his swordmanship training. "If someone asks, you will tell that those scenes were performed by Kurenai. It's that clear?" said Hayate in a menacing tone to the genins. Haku's bloodline was blessing for the staff. Zabuza's son used his power to mold the icy terrain as the director wanted so they could make the terrain even more spectacular. Sasuke made a good exhibition of the latest jutsus that his senseis taught him, disguised by Kurenai's Jin jutsus so they wouldn't look as ninja techniques. Naruto for his part used his Kage Bunshines combined with henge to create a hordes of minions for the bad guy of the film, while Sakura and Hinata, still red, took care of the small cases of freezing and colds that appeared among the staff members. Finally, Lee made his contribution carrying the heavy stuff needed for the film. Hayate suspected that it was an excuse for Lee's part to train in secret because Hayate established a rule that forbid his students to do so while in missions. There's a time for training and a time for missions. Training consumes a lot of energy that you wouldn't have if an enemy makes an unprevented attack. It includes your weights, Lee. I doubt that an intelligent enemy would let you take them off, and there's a good chance that you could be killed by a fast attack that you could have avoided in normal circumstances, but you couldn't because the weights were hindering your movements. For that reason you won't wear your weights in C-rank missions and above," said Hayate. Surprisingly, Guy supported Hayate's logic and Lee, as the obedient son that he was, abided the decision, something that he didn't regret when the attack began. "Hyoton, Harimoko. Ice release, piercing dragon fierce tiger," exclaimed a voice while a jutsu that looked like a mix of a tiger and dragon made of ice attacked Lee. Fortunately, the taijutsu specialist had access to his full speed and could evade the attack. "Konoha ninjas. Hand us the princess and we will let you leave," exclaimed a man wearing a snow forehead protector and a strange armor. Naruto recognized the Izraud and Nader from his future self's biography. He was flanked by a pink-haired woman and a man holding what seemed to be a snowboard table. They both also had snow forehead protectors and armors. "Never. We will never handle you, the princess. You are the ones who have to give up because we never do it," exclaimed Naruto. "Yosh. Naruto talks for everybody. Your cold attacks won't be able to freeze us. We will melt your jutsus with our flames of youth," exclaimed Lee. Kurenai, Sakura and Sasuke looked at them dumbfounded while Haku and Hinata smiled and Hayate sighed. "How you dare, you brats. You don't know that you are outnumbered?" said Nader while several snow ninjas appeared behind him. "Thank you for making things harder to us, Naruto," said Sasuke in a sarcastic tone. "Hey, don't blame me. Those ninjas were already there before I threatened them," responded Naruto while he created some clones. "MMPF, whatever," said Sasuke. The battle began. Lee faced Mizore, the guy with the snowboard table. Naruto began an aerial battle with Fubuki, the snow kunoichi with pink hair, who happened to have a flying device incorporated to her armor. Sasuke faced Nader. The rest of Konoha ninjas were busy protecting Koyuki and the film staff from the rest of snow ninjas. Among them, the one who performed the best was Haku. The snow ninja's ice jutsus were completely useless against the Hyoton holder. Haku just needed to concentrate a little and he could take control of the ice jutsus used by his enemies and use them against them. Not only that, but Haku also found out that on that terrain he could perform his jutsus with very little cost of chakra. He never felt so powerful. But the best of all was that thanks to his observational skills he could learn all the ice jutsus performed by his enemies, memorizing the hand signs they did. "I never thought that I would be in a battle that would strengthen me like this. I can't wait to show the new jutsus to Zabuza-sama," he thought. His thoughts were interrupted when he heard a voice I didn't expect to hear on that place. Well. You grew up a lot, Haku-chan. Please, be good and come with us," said a feminine voice. The boy looked shocked at the place where the voice came from. There was a stunning redhead woman flanked by a pair of ninjas holding a pair of impressive swords. All the more mist headbands. "Who are them, Haku? Do you recognize that woman and the other ninjas?" asked Sakura. The boy nodded. "The ninjas at her sides are part of the 7 Swordmen of the Mist. She is Mei Terumi, the strongest woman in Mist. I doubt that we will survive this battle," he said. "Who are them, Haku? Do you recognize that woman and the other ninjas?" asked Sakura. The boy nodded. "The ninjas at her sides are part of the 7 Swordmen of the Mist. She is Mei Terumi, the strongest woman in Mist. I doubt that we would survive this battle," he said. With Lee for a casual observer, the second beast's fight against Mizore seemed more like a race than a combat to death. Mizore's combat style was based on the speed and movement that his snowboard table gave him when fighting on snow. Compared to him, his opponents were slow and clumsy. Among ninjas, speed was the key to victory. If you were faster than your enemy, then you had half battle won. "Damn it! How can this kid move so fast? I can't use my jutsus having this guy at my side. Whenever I try to put distance between him and I with maneuvers, he just changes directions. The snow doesn't seem to hinder his moves at all. How is that possible? How can Konoha ninjas know how to perform the snow walking technique?" thought Mizore. Yosh. Yondaime-sama was right. The sand walking technique that we learned during our trip to Suna lets us walk on snow without problem. The same happens with the technique we learned in order to protect us from heat. It also works against cold, thought Lee while he made a sidestep to keep at Mizore's side. !%hand. "Stop sticking to me, you and %/#, screamed the snow ninja. Suddenly Lee stopped his race and hit Mizore in the face, knocking him. "Moderate your language, sir. This is a ninja fight, not a tavern's brawl," said Lee. Mizore didn't say anything. "You are not going to talk? I'm fine with that. Anyo, why don't you get up?" asked Lee. The green ninja finally realized that his opponent was unconscious. One of the Mion problems of fighting at high speed was that hits that would have been harmless in normal circumstances were life-threatening. "I think that I'm going to help the lovely Sakura-san and the others against the remaining snow ninjas," thought Lee while he ran towards the main battle. With Naruto, the young Jinchuriki's fight against Fubuki happened to be one of the most disbalanced of the battle between Konoha and Snow's forces. Since she was chosen to wield one of the chakra armors, Fubuki became very proficient with the use of the flying device incorporated on hers. The truth was that the device was for gliding. She couldn't fly at all, But the adversaries who faced her couldn't find the difference until now. Unlike her, Naruto had access to real flight. His maneuverability was not as limited as her. He could stop in mid-air, he could rise at will, he could change his speed at will. Hyoton, Tsubame Fubuki. Ice release, swallow snowstorm, she exclaimed. Let's see if you can avoid this, she thought. A bunch of ice needles in the shape of mini swallows were directed at Naruto, who maneuvered to dodge them. The needles changed their direction to hit Naruto, but he passed by Fubuki, who lacked the maneuverality to dodge. To the kunoichi's credit, she managed to deflect the needles incoming with her kunai, leaving her body unharmed. Ha! Really, you thought that I would be so stupid to let my own attack hit me? She exclaimed. But although she was unharmed from her needles, nobody could say the same for her armor's wings, that ended full of holes. Futon, Rinkudan. Wind release, drilling air bullet, exclaimed Naruto while expelled a strong air strike towards Fubuki. The massive air hit one of Fubuki's wings, expanding the holes and tearing the wing completely. Eh? No, screamed the kunoichi while she fell to the ocean. Naruto tried to catch her, but a group of snow ninjas at land threw shurikens to him, realizing too late that their actions doomed one of their comrades. Furious, they began to attack Naruto with shuriken, kunais, jutsus and different forms of ranged weapons. Geez, it looks like I'm fighting Tenten, thought Naruto. With Sasuke, the fight between Sasuke and Nader was on a stalemate. The snow ninja was more experienced than Sasuke, but the Uchiha was faster. Sasuke didn't use his Sharingan's ability to copy jutsus to reply back Nader's ice jutsus with ice jutsus of his own. Facing an enemy with his own techniques is a key to disaster, simply because your enemy is better than you using them. For that reason, it's better to use your own jutsus or those you didn't copy from your enemy, used to say the Sun Daime while he trained Sasuke. I could try that hypnotism trick with the Sharingan to make him perform his jutsus slower as Kakashi taught me, but it would be a waste of chakra, thought Sasuke. After some demonstration from the X-Cage, Sasuke also became aware that using the jutsus he copied from his enemies took more chakra from him than from his enemy, because he was not used to the jutsu and the different elemental affinities. His thoughts were interrupted by an attack from Nader. Dai, Uchiha. Hyoton, Rogan Nader no Jutsu. Ice release, Wolf Fang avalanche, exclaimed Nader. An avalanche of snow wolves appeared and threw back Sasuke, who couldn't react on time. That will teach you, exclaimed Nader, looking at Sasuke's broken. Suddenly Sasuke emerged from the snow and charged with a Chidori on hand, piercing Trough Nader's armor and heart. How? I trashed you. And how could you pierce my armor? Babbled Nader. When you thought that your attack hit me, you just saw a well-placed genjutsu. And about your armor? Well, the Chidori is not an A rank because it can kill a lot of enemies with an use as other jutsus do. It can kill only one each time. Chidori is an A rank technique because its ability to pierce Trough defenses as they were paper, including that chakra armor you love to show off, said Sasuke. Chidori. It is Kakashi's original attack, isn't it? Now I know who is the strongest between us. No wonder why he was not interested to fight me, whispered Nader while he died. Sasuke retired his hand from Nader's corpse, feeling a bit guilty. It was not his first kill, he also did it on the same mission as Sakura, but the bitter taste was also the same. It would be better if I go and see how the others are doing, he thought. At other place, the Konoha ninjas were not aware of the snow ninjas who were filming the fights with chakra-powered cameras and transmitting the images to Doto's flying fortress, hidden behind a hill at the battlefield side. Last months were great for Doto. A guild of powerful merchants was so impressed by Snow Country's technology that they decided to invest vast quantities of money on the country's investigation program. The only drawback was that eventually he had to deal with agents of the guild who came to check the progress of Dota's scientists, moment when the usurper of Snow Country showed them some minor but interesting innovations while he hid the real fruits of the research in secret. My discoveries are mine and only mine. When the time comes, you and your money won't be useful anymore to me, thought Doto. The guild also promised Dota to introduce him with some powerful ninja groups that could be interested to make an alliance with Snow Country. At first he didn't take it seriously, but he changed his mind when he met the first group. Flashback: the agent of the guild got into Dota's throne room accompanied by 7 persons who were wearing hoods. Dota-san. Your visitors have arrived as we promised, said the agent. MMPFH, it looks like they can't bear this country's weather if they have to cover themselves like this, commented Doto. The only reason we wear this hoods is to conceal our identities, Dota-san. I would suggest you to measure your words before knowing who are you dealing with, said one young-looking man with a strange stitch-like scar running from under his left eye while he took off his hood. The other visitors took his example and removed their hoods too. You, exclaimed Dota while he paled. "It looks like you recognize Jagura, the Ondame Mizukage. We are his escorts by the way," said Mei Terumi, amused by Dota's reaction. End flashback. When Dota got notice that his niece, Koyuki, would return to Snow Country, he saw it as a chance to show the power of his ninjas to the Mizukage and his escorts, so he equipped some of them with the new cameras to make a live broadcast for them and for another potential ally who arrived that morning. Dota's smile disappeared as his Shinobis were easily defeated by Konoha ninjas. The Mist ninjas looked interested how Nader, Fubuki and Mizore were defeated by Sasuke, Naruto, and Lee. However, they looked with great expectation how Haku fought against Dota's ninjas with great success and little effort. Dota couldn't understand how that girly-looking boy could use ice jutsus even better than his men. How can this be possible? Konoha ninjas shouldn't know ice jutsus. Fire Country doesn't have snow zones where they could practice them, he exclaimed. One of Mist's ninjas, a man with an eye patch, looked at him. It is because Haku, that boy, is a holder of the Hyoton blood limit. He can use ice jutsus without having snow or ice around, just mixing wind and water elements by himself. Your ninjas don't have any chance against him, he is literally on his element, said the man. Dota's eyes widened. The Hyoton blood limit. I thought that it was extinct. The ones able to use ice element jutsus outside cold places. The main weakness of Snow Country is that my ninjas cannot use their best jutsus, the ice ones, in warm places. That's the reason I need the weapon created by my foolish brother and allies in order to start my kingdom's expansion. I must capture that boy. If I manage to capture him and figure out how his blood limit works, I'll be able to replicate it on my ninjas, thought Dota. How do you know so much about that boy, Ao-san? Asked one of the younger Mist ninja, a boy with golden eyes. It's simple, Utakata-san. That boy is from our country. He is Haku, Momochi Zabuza's apprentice and servant. I never imagined that we would see him here. What should we do, Yondame-sama? Asked Ao. The cage stood looking at Haku for a few seconds. May, take Raiga and Reika and go there to convince Haku to come back to Mist with us, said Yagura. The beautiful woman and two of the male Mist ninjas nodded. What should we do if he refuses to come with us? Are we authorized to use force to convince him? I ask because he seems to be a Konoha ninja now. If his new allies support him, we will take the risk of a diplomatic incident with Konoha, pointed May. You can take any measurements you seem fit. Konoha has been giving asylum to Zabuza, a missing nin from our village. At the worst case scenario, we can always argue that we just needed to capture Haku to interrogate about Zabuza. He is his disciple after all, said Yagura. The three ninjas nodded and disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Wait a moment. This is my country's territory, you can't order them to intervene without my permission, exclaimed Dota while he grabbed Jagura by the collar. The Mizukage's pupilless pink eyes turned yellow with black pupils while an extremely strong killing intent filled the room. Dota released the Mizukage, almost pissing himself. Remember that you are dealing with the leader of one of the 5 great villages, Dota. That boy is Mist's matter and we won't tolerate any interference. Is that clear? Said Jagura. Why yes, Mizukage-sama. Excuse my impulsiveness, babbled Dota. Yagura didn't say anything, returning back his attention to the screen. The hooded figure sent a look to the Mizukage. What kind of power this man has. I should put an eye on him, thought. Seconds later, the bystanders saw Mei and the other ninjas arrive to the battlefield and introduced themselves to Haku and the Konoha ninjas. Let's hope that they manage to convince Haku to come with them, commented Chojuro, the most recent swordsman. Unfortunately, Chojiro's hopes disappeared when both sides began to fight. The remaining snow ninjas joined the fight, making Konoha's ninjas to lose their numeric advantage. Look, the blonde boy who can fly created several dozens of clones to even the numbers, commented Utakata. Those are Cage Bunshines. The boy must have the chakra of an elite Jonin if he can create so many without tiring himself, said Ao. The red-eyed woman is fighting Raiga, the man with the bandana is charging towards Reika with a sword covered with lightning chakra. Wait, it is not a normal sword, is the Nidaime Hokage's legendary Raijin, exclaimed Chojuro. That's one of the few weapons able to compete with the swords of the mist, commented Yagura. It would be a great substitute for Zabuza's sword. The battle continued. Haku is doing an excellent job countering Mei's lava and boil releases. It is obvious that he has the terrain advantage. That's the reason because Haku is managing to last so long against her, said Ao. Haku also is having the help of the Uchiha and the boy in green. By the way, there's something that has been bothering me. Boil and lava releases are both chakra-type blood limits. Sensei told me that children from people of different blood limits of the same type can't inherit any of them because the blood limits counter each other, said Utakata. Mei is a special case. Her blood limits are an atavism or a regression, said Ao. What's that? Asked Chojuro. It is when a person manifests features from a distant ancestor that was not present on the nearest ones, like the parents or the grandparents. After some research, our medics found out that two of Mei's ancestors by her father's side held the larva and boil releases respectively and had a child who didn't manifest any of them. After some analysis and research, the medics came with the conclusion that blood limits from the same type require some generations until they are stabilized and allow the appearance of a descendant who can manifest both blood limits and have children with the same feature, pointed out. Then why there are not more cases like Mei's? Asked Utakata. Simple. The children from parents of different bloodlines were deemed as genetic failures and not allowed to marry or have offspring. Mei's parents were civilians, with her father being descendant of a deserter from Konoha, one of those failures, said Ao. The hooded man took note of Ao's words. That info was pure gold. That means that Tsunade could have had children with two blood limits. It's a pity that she is no longer at the proper age to have them, thought. Look. Haku and the girls can perform medic jutsus. The rumor that Konoha started a medic nin program so all teams would have one of them must be true, said Chojuro. That's bad. The ability to heal their wounds will give them a serious advantage. What should we do, Mizukage-sama? Mizukage-sama? Asked Ao. Everyone looked dumbfounded at the empty spot where the Mizukage was before. Don't tell me that headed towards there, commented Chojuro. The Mizukage looked at the battlefield from a cliff with a calculating look. The blonde boy's clones almost finished to take the film staff towards the boat while his comrades continued fighting against Mei and the others without giving any ground. It's time to finish this, he thought before he jumped towards there. Dotu and the hooded man looked speechless how Yagura's body began to change and increase its size during the fall. D-hats, babbled Dotu. The Sanbi, exclaimed the hooded man. With Naruto that's the last one. Now I will be able to help the others without worrying about our proteges, thought Naruto. Crash. The sound of something really big crashing caught everybody's attention. What's that thing? Exclaimed Sanayu. A monster, exclaimed Koyuki. No matter what happens, make sure to film this, ordered the director. The battle was interrupted. Nobody dared to move at the sight of the enormous three-tailed turtle, who began to gather chakra for an attack. Shit. That's more than we can handle. I'll better call for help, thought Naruto while he looked on his pouch for the special kunai that would let him summon his father. Damn it, where did I place it? He thought while the creature expelled a powerful chakra water stream towards the middle of the battlefield, destroying a good portion of the small island, dispersing the fighters and creating several huge waves. Haku managed to create several blocks of ice to give his comrades a surface to walk to step, but before he realized it, an immense hand grabbed him. Naruto, finally with the kunai on hand, saw how the Sanbi captured Haku while covering the mist ninjas with its tails and immersing on the water, creating more waves. Naruto was about to fly towards them to help his friend, but his heart stopped when he saw one of his teammates sinking in the cold waters, his best friend. Hinata, exclaimed Naruto, forgetting about the kunai and dropping it while he changed his direction towards her. The first impression Naruto got when he jumped into the cold waters was like he was stabbed by thousands of senbon needles throughout all his body, but he ignored it. All his attention was focused on Hinata's drowning body, nothing else mattered. Damn it. Hinata is stunned because the impact. I have to reach her as fast as possible. Hench, he thought while he performed the jutsu. At first sight Naruto didn't seem to have changed at all, but a deeper inspection would reveal that Naruto now had gills behind his ears and webbed hands and feet, reminding a toads. Naruto used his new features to swim faster towards Hinata, reaching her in a few seconds. At the time he got hold of her, he began to flounder his legs as fast as he could. Finally they reached the surface. Hinata opened her mouth and began to gasp for air. I have to thank Dad for making me read all those books about biology. I couldn't have created the gills without it, thought Naruto while he dispelled his henge. Are you alright, Hinata-chan? He asked. Why yes, I am Naruto-kun. Thank you for saving me, said Hinata, trying to not shake. She is not fine. I have to take her off from water as soon as possible. We must go towards the boat hand. Shit, thought Naruto just before dodging a clawed hand that tried to catch them. However, Naruto and Hinata didn't escape unscratched. The Sanbi's claws teared Naruto's cloak, leaving useless to fly. My cloak. I completely forgot about that. This stupid beast was around. What is it doing here? Thought Naruto. The Sanbi approached, trying to catch them again, but they used the water walking technique to run over water and get away from the Baijuo. Let's hope that we are faster running than him swimming, commented Hinata. Suddenly, The beast began to crawl over the water using its arms in order to approach them as quickly as possible. Naruto and Hinata were too busy running away from the beast that they barely noticed the snowstorm that was forming on the skies. "Hinata, I'm going to try a special tactic. We will have to run as fast as possible to be away from the center of the havoc it will cause," said Naruto. "Hi, Naruto," said a trembling Hinata. "I'll have to use the special reserve of chakra that I have sealed on my arms. Taiju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu," he exclaimed. An army of Naruto clones of about 2,000 individuals appeared between the Sanbi and Hinata and the real Naruto. "Alright, you know what you have to do, guys, begin the attack," exclaimed one of the clones. "Hi," responded the other clones. The army of Naruto's advanced towards the Sanbi, who looked at them surprised by the sheer numbers. Some of the clones began to form Rasengan on kunai tips to throw them at the creature while others attacked using the Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, performing attacks that covered the Sanbi's whole body. Although the Shuriken rain was really spectacular and would have been able to destroy entire battalions of regular soldiers, it was useless against the Sanbi's thick shell, but it fulfilled its purpose to distract the Baijuo while the clones finished to form the Rasengans on the kunai tips and to add Naruto's speed tags on the handles. At the time the kunai Rasengans were thrown, the tags activated, increasing the speed and lethality of the attacks. However, all attacks seemed to be useless against the Sanbi's shell. But Naruto already knew about it thanks to the info he got from his future self's biography. The true purpose of the clones was to distract the Sanbi while another group of several clones underwater were performing the first step of the Rasengan in order to create giant whirlpool, a trick that Naruto also got from the biography. Meanwhile, it began to snow more richly. Before the giant turtle realized it, the Sanbi found himself in the middle of an immense vortex that began to suck it. The creature tried to escape crawling over it with the water walking technique, but its massive weight and its lack of hind legs worked against it. Naruto got the memories from the underwater clones, confirming that his plan was a success. "Hinata, now we will have to run even faster," he said. "Hi, and Naruto," said Hinata while trembling. The young ninjas concentrated all the chakra they could on their feet to run away from the whirlpool created by Naruto's clones. Unfortunately for Hinata, she was on the limit of her strength after spending so much chakra in the previous battle and using the rest to protect her from the cold temperatures. At the end, Naruto took her bridal style and kept running. Finally, they reached the coast and abandoned the cold waters, but unfortunately they didn't know where were the others, and the dispersed snowflakes were now a full snowstorm. "Damn it! The seals on the bracers got damaged because the water. We can't send a message asking for help. Unlike other seals, these ones are very delicate. I have to find a way to improve them when we return to Konoha, but now our priority is to find a refuge until the storm clears. We have to change these wet clothes," thought Naruto. They walked inland for several minutes that they felt like hours, but the storm was now so strong that they couldn't see more than 20 meters and they were completely lost. "Byakugan," exclaimed Hinata, trying to not faint. "And Naruto. There's a small cave about a kilometer west from here. We could go there." I feel so tired," babbled Hinata while she deactivated her blood limit. "Well done, Hinata-chan, please put up with it a bit more, we'll be there soon," said Naruto. The Hyuga girl didn't respond. "Shit. I have to take her there before it's too late," thought Naruto, alarmed. Taking Hinata again bridal style, Naruto crossed the distance that was between him and the small cave, ignoring the exhaustion that was beginning to affect him too. After some minutes that seemed an eternity for him, he finally reached the cave. The entrance was almost covered by the snow. Naruto almost missed it. With Hinata still on his arms, he created a pair of clones who began to remove the snow, making an entrance. They have enough chakra to protect themselves from the cold for a few hours. It would be better if I keep them as guards, thought Naruto. "Cover the entrance, leaving a hole to let air in, and stand guard around the zone," ordered Naruto while he took the unconscious Hinata inside the cave. The clones nodded and began to cover the entrance. As soon as Hinata and Naruto got into the cave, he unsealed some of the camping items from one of his scrolls, including several dry blankets and a stove that he turned on immediately. "I won't complain again at Hirasenan's lessons. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't listen to him when he said that I should be prepared for situations where I would be split from my team," thought Naruto. He looked nervous at Hinata, unsure about what to do. What Hirasenan told me about cases like this? Thought. An image of Jiraiya appeared on his mind with the answers. Hyuga women are known for having extremely beautiful bodies. No matter how much they train, their skin is always soft and smooth. Also, their bodies don't take a sturdy look with training. Training makes them stronger, faster and tougher as any kunoichi, but it doesn't change their appearance of goddesses, said Jiraiya's image. "Why are you telling me that?" I don't have time for your perverted ideas. I have to help Hinata, warming her up, exclaimed Naruto. Hey, I'm just a figment of your imagination created by your subconscious mind because the cold and the strain. It's true that the real Jiraiya told you about the virtues of Hyuga women, but it was up to you that talk being the first thing that appeared on your mind, said Jiraiya's image. What? But why I thought about that? Babbled Naruto. Come on, brat. You know perfectly what you have to do to help her. Body heat. The best way to warm a cold body is the contact with a warm body, yours, proclaimed Jiraiya's image. But that means that, babbled Naruto, blushing. Yes. You'll have to take off her and yours so you could embrace her in order to share your body heat with her, said Jiraiya's image with a mischievous smile. But there must be another way. Perhaps if I place her near the stove, reasoned Naruto. It won't work. She must receive the heat in a more direct way. Besides, you have to remove those wet clothes, you like it or not, said the image. But I can't do it to Hinata-chan, complained Naruto. Why not? It is necessary to save her life. You can't perform a surgery without spilling some blood. She is a medic nin and she will understand. I'm completely sure that she would the same thing for you. You wouldn't mind doing it with another person. What's so special about Hinata that makes you so reluctant to undress her? Asseverated Jiraiya's image. Fine. I will do it. But let's make clear that I'm doing it just to save Hinata, said Naruto while he took off his clothes until he was only on his boxers. It's a pity that Hinata is not awake. I bet that she would enjoy the sight, teased the image. Naruto ignored the teasing. His mind was occupied by another matter. Gulping, he began to take off Hinata's clothes. I'm sorry, Hinata-chan. I'm doing this to save you, I swear, said Naruto, trying to not look at her more than necessary. But he looked. Naruto found out what Hinata hid underneath the baggy jacket and guessed why she did it. Jiraiya was right. Nature is very generous with Hyuga women and Hinata was not an exception. A part of him, the gentleman-like one, was relieved to see that instead of underwear, Hinata wore shorts, similar than Sakura's but shorter, and a sports bra, a very suitable choice for the environment of the mission. Luckily those pieces of clothing didn't get wet so he didn't have to remove them. Another part of him was not as chivalrous. Oh Kami. I never imagined that Hinata could be so hot. I think that she is better endowed than Tenten or Temari and they are older than her, thought Naruto, completely red. Wow. She is really sexy. You are a very lucky boy. Great idea to turn red like this, you will warm her faster, exclaimed Jiraiya's image while making whistling sounds. Don't dare to look at her. And get out of here, you pervert, exclaimed an angry Naruto. Remember that I'm just a part of your mind, these thoughts are really yours. Okay, I'll leave. But remember my question, said the image while it faded. With a blush on his face, he covered Hinata and himself with the blankets and embraced her. No. She is really cold. I shouldn't have been so reluctant with this. I just hope that it is not too late. Please hold on Hinata-chan, he thought. Naruto forced his chakra to circulate at fast speed in order to increase his body heat. With his face near hers, his mind began to ponder about his relationship with Hinata. Why I didn't realize earlier how beautiful she is. I'm really oblivious. All kind of memories concerning Hinata appeared on his mind, when they watched his father's combats to determine his rank after his return. During that time Naruto noticed Hinata's tendency to faint, when his father told him about the Kyuubi and she helped him to realize that he was not the monster reincarnated, becoming the first person from his age group to know his secret and to accept him, when they trained together with the purpose to master the jutsu named after her uncle, and he found out that she was a great cook. How cute she looked when he made a flower tiara for her, how impressed was everyone, especially her family, when she changed her fighting style during the parents' visit day and became the best kunoichi from her class, when she visited him after the traumatic experience where he thought that his father was killed and he used the Kyuubi's power for first time. At the end he decided to trust her with the secret of his father being a time traveler, when his father and him were invited to her home, the knockers incident and the kiss he gave her on the cheek at the end of the dinner, when she and many of his friends helped him to save Gaara, the sunset at Suna, when he realized how nice she looked with longer hair, his mother's return. Hinata was the first one they told about it and immediately got along with his mother, his first real birthday, when she gave him his beloved googles, the training sessions that they shared with his mother where she left them alone to practice by themselves, when he showed her his ability to fly before anybody else and they decided to help with the prisoner hunting without knowing that they were not official ninjas yet. They ended creating their powerful joint technique, the Rasen no Mai, when he found out that she was the best ramen eater in Konoha. How worried he was when he found that she was hospitalized. A particular memory appeared. It was one where he helped a girl who was being hassled by some kids. He tried to perform the Bunshin no Jutsu without success and receiving a small beating at the end, but at least the girl was saved. That girl was Hinata, I'm completely sure. How could I forget about that? I'll have to learn some techniques to improve my memory, thought Naruto. He reminded the question from Jiraiya's image. What's so special about Hinata that makes you so reluctant to undress her? And he realized it. The reason was because he wanted to wait for the proper time, to make it a special and wonderful moment with her. I'm in love with Hinata. I have been loving her for months and I didn't realize it. What I used to feel for Sakura is nothing compared to what I feel when I'm with Hinata. Please Hinata-chan, you have to get better. I don't want to lose you now that I realize my feelings for you. I can't imagine my future without you at my side, thought Naruto while he embraced Hinata tighter. Minutes passed, Naruto finally gave in to fatigue and fell asleep. Hours later when Hinata woke up, she found herself in an unknown place, but she didn't feel afraid at all. She never felt so safe on her life. Finally she realized that she was on Naruto's arms. I'm in one of those dreams with Naruto, thought while blushing a little. During last months Hinata has been having several dreams concerning Naruto and her where they ended in romantic situations. In some dreams they fought back to back against groups of enemy ninjas, and after a hard-achieved victory they looked at each other's eyes and shared a passionate kiss or something like that. There were dreams where Naruto saved her from an enemy and others where Hinata saved him. The rescue usually was followed by a make-out session. A pair of dreams had them as adults, with them being officially a couple, Naruto being named Hokage and the private celebration party they had after that. Hinata blushed when she reminded the dreams where they were alone on a desert island and they had to use some leaves to make clothes. I wonder how much will last this dream. It is the most realistic one I ever had, she thought. She noticed that Naruto was waking up. She came to a decision. I'll confess to him as soon as we return to Konoha. I can't stand without telling him anymore, she vowed. When Naruto opened his eyes he saw Hinata smiling at him. He hugged her. Hinata-chan. You are fine. You had me very worried. I don't know what I would have done if you didn't made it, exclaimed Naruto while he hugged her. Hinata leaned her head on Naruto's shoulder. I'm sorry Naruto-kun. I would never do anything that would worry you, whispered Hinata while she enjoyed the embrace. Hinata, there's a very important thing that I want to tell you, said Naruto. What is it Naruto-kun? Asked Hinata smiling at him. Naruto took some air. He was really nervous. Hinata. I'm not very good with these kind of things, so I'll go straight with it. I love you Hinata. I'm not talking about a childish crush, I'm talking about serious love. I don't know when I fell for you, but I'm completely sure about my feelings for you. When I imagine myself several years at the future, I just can't imagine myself without you at my side, said Naruto. Then, Hinata did what he didn't expect. She grabbed Naruto and planted a passionate kiss on his lips. After the initial surprise, Naruto embraced Hinata and returned the kiss. The kiss lasted until they needed to take some breath, then Hinata spoke. Naruto-kun. I also love you. I have been loving you since our academy days. At first I just admired you for your determination, your capacity for not giving up and for your noble nature. I just wanted to be more like you, so I used to observe you as my source of inspiration. But then my admiration for you changed into genuine love. I always wanted to talk with you but I was too shy to do it and I ended, stuttering, turning red as a tomato and fainting. My confidence when I'm around you has been getting better and better. I no longer stutter, I don't blush as often and I rarely faint. However, I still couldn't find the courage to confess my feelings for you, she said. Naruto couldn't believe what he was hearing. What? All the blushes, the stuttering and the fainting were because Hinata-chan liked me. Man, my obliviousness seems to don't have limits, thought. But that surprise was nothing compared to what came next. He got completely paralyzed when Hinata put his hand on her chest and began to caress his face. Naruto-kun, I promise that I'm going to confess to you when I wake up. Meanwhile, it would be bad to not to take advantage of this dream, said Hinata while she looked at Naruto in a sensual way. Hinata. This is not a dream. This is real, babbled Naruto while a drop of blood fell from his nose. Hinata looked at him dumbfounded. Are you telling me that this is our real? She asked. Naruto nodded. Then Hinata realized their lack of clothing, Naruto's hand still on her chest and the natural reaction of his body on the lower regions. Screamed Hinata while she covered herself with the blanket. Just at that time Naruto realized the natural reaction of his body on the lower regions and covered himself. They stood there giving their back to each other for a few minutes, each one too embarrassed to make eye contact. Naruto broke the silence. Ni Hinata, he said. Why yes Naruto? She asked. I think that it would be better if we forget about the last minutes and don't talk about it again, he said. Hi. You won't tell anybody and I won't tell anybody, and Naruto-kun why are we almost naked? Asked Hinata. Oh, well. You almost got frozen and I had no choice but to remove your wet clothes. He told her how they ended in that situation. I understand. Thank you for saving me Naruto-kun, said Hinata blushing with a small smile. Hinata-chan, will you forgive me? Asked Naruto. There's nothing to forgive, Naruto. You did it to save my life, said Hinata. I'm not talking about that, I'm asking for your forgiveness for not realizing that you liked me. It must have been very hard for you, he said. Only if you forgive me for not telling about my feelings earlier, responded Hinata smiling. Deal, he said. Deal, responded her. Why don't we settle it with a kiss? Asked Naruto with a smile. I would love it a lot, said Hinata. The young ninja's lips met again in another kiss, less passionate than the first but more tender. After some seconds they broke the kiss. Hinata. Does it mean that we are a couple now, isn't it? That I'm your boyfriend and you are my girlfriend, he said. Why yes. You can consider me your girlfriend now, said Hinata overwhelmed by the happiness that was filling her. Hinata-chan, I promise you that I'll be the best boyfriend possible, the other girls will envy you and you know that I never go back with my word, said Naruto. I promise the same for you, Naruto-kun. What time is it? She asked. Naruto looked at a watch he had on his survival equipment. It's still night, we should sleep some hours before we get out to look for the others, said Naruto. Yes, we need the rest. Naruto-kun, said Hinata blushing. Yes, Hinata-chan? He asked. I'm still feel a bit cold. Would you mind if I sleep embracing you again? It's only for sharing the heat, she said blushing while twitching her fingers. Of course, Hinata-chan, said Naruto while he approached her with the blanket. The new couple embraced each other. Hinata. Will you tell me about dreams? He asked. And Naruto, said Hinata. Can't blame me for trying, responded him. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.